Monkey channel. This channel is being created to help any ladies who's trying to get into reenacting. So if that is what you're interested in and would like to see more videos on, please hit a like and subscribe on that button. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump into this video and start with some tips and tricks that I've learned through about 7 years of reenacting. So the first tip I'm going to say is how to get started into reenacting. And a lot of people go through this way, and it's no shame. But one way I've seen a lot of ladies start in is through a friend, through their husband or significant other, or even simply just coming to one and talking to the other ladies. I personally started through an ex. He started in it, and then I came along. He's actually out of it now, and I'm still in 7 years later. So there's no shame of coming with your significant other if you're interested in history. Another way I've seen a lot of ladies start is through Facebook. They will message a group and simply ask how to join and what they do and different things like that. Another thing I mentioned before was coming to a reenactment and talking. So we are a very relaxed group. We love talking to spectators. We love getting new members. This is a hobby that will welcome you with open arms. If you would like to become a reenactor, simply go to a reenactment and start talking to the ladies. My first event was in July, and my second event was in October. By November, I was already buying a dress and other things through the help of the ladies in the unit. So just go and talk to the ladies and see what they're like and how to join. If you know someone who goes to reenactments, hop in the car with them and, have fun. That's what this hobby is about, have fun. So I mentioned before about going to reenactments and talking to the ladies. Almost every reenactment will have what they call a ladies' tea, which is all the ladies gathering together and having tea and talking. Now, if you would like to come to this, it's a great event. I love doing them. You get to see a whole different side of the reenactment. And I will speak about that in a later video. But these ladies, if you simply go up and say, hey, I'm interested in becoming a reenactor, they will be glad to talk to you about it and welcome you. And like I said, this is a reenactor ladies are very welcoming. So don't be afraid to just start talking to someone, ask a question or anything like that. They will answer your questions if you have them, and if they don't, they will get somebody who does. So tip number 2, you started reenacting, now what? Okay, so I was in this boat myself. I didn't know where to go, and the first tip, I guess the first tip in reenacting, I should put this, is to find someone to guide you, mentor you, to talk to you about things or give you references. There's so much knowledge in the ladies that have been doing this for years. I personally know about 5 or 6 ladies that I go to when I have a question still. If you're interested in this, you become a reenactor and you have your mentor, do your research alongside with them. If you're interested in the clothing, start researching it and do your own research along with them. Their knowledge is wonderful. They'll tell you where to find things and where to look. But having your own mentor is amazing. They become your friend, and I can't speak enough about it. So first, find yourself a mentor, a guide, whatever you would like to call it, and do your own research alongside with them. And I can't stress that enough. Do your research. That's another tip I have, is to do your research. Just don't simply take somebody's word on an article or something like that. If you can ask them, hey, where did you find this? Where did you look this up? That would be the best thing, because that's going to lead me into another tip that I will put into a different part of this video. This is tip number 3. This was really hard on beginning reenactors, and that is, don't try to buy everything at once. Unless you're really wealthy, that is going to come with a huge price tag. Between the corsets, the shoes, and the dress, you are looking at a huge price tag. A single dress. So don't try and buy everything at once. A dress as simple as this is costed about $120, and that was very basic. So the next tip I have, I believe this is tip number 4, I think. I forget how many I've done. So the next tip I have is to learn how to sew if possibly you can. When I started out, I could not even thread a needle. I'm now making my own dress and creating my own patterns and my own things like that. I've actually made this apron, which is really a huge achievement for me, since, like I said, when I first started reenacting, I couldn't even sew a button on. So learn how to sew. Again, if you have that mentor, that guide, she could possibly show you how to sew. A lot of lady reenactors I've known have actually created whole businesses simply by sewing and selling reenactment clothes. My good friend, and the one who has guided me through most of my reenacting career, has actually started a business like this, and I have bought things from her. So don't be afraid to start hand sewing or quilting. You know, this is a hobby that 150, 200 years ago they would have been sewing themselves, and therefore their cost would have been less. So learn how to sew, learn how to read a pattern, learn so many other skills that they would have, and you will see that your impression will be growing and becoming more authentic because you are doing it. So the next tip I have is never stop learning. We as reenactors are continuously learning. We are always talking to each other. We are always asking each other for reference points. If you stop learning as a reenactor, you can just about count your reenacting career, I should put, as being dead. Because there's always something to learn. You will always be asked a question about something you don't know. So if you get asked that question, go ahead, open the book, look it up. If you can find it, great. Write that reference point down so you can have it on a cue card or something like that, so you can reach back in your tent and pull it out and say, I don't have the answer right off the top of my head, but here's a place you might be able to find it. Reenactors are always learning from other reenactors and other reference points, and so never stop learning. Never just think you know it all, but always have the unction, I should put that, the unction to learn. Tip number 8, I don't know, I've lost count. So the next tip I have is, don't be afraid when a more seasoned reenactor gives you advice or gives you a critique. I was really bad about this when I first started, thinking that I had the perfect impression. No one has the perfect impression. Even people who's been doing this for 15, 20, 25 years will always have at least one little detail that isn't quite right. So never be afraid when a more seasoned reenactor comes up to you and says, hey, I need you to step to the side for a minute and talk about something. It's not out of malice and it's not out of hate. It's more out of a kindness and a love that they want you to be the best you can be. So never be afraid of that. Ask that more seasoned reenactor to give their opinion. Is everything okay with my outfit? Do I need to change my hairstyle? Do I need to change my kind of shoes? Never be afraid of that criticism, because it's not out of malice. So this one is having to deal with being at an event. And I'll do a top 10 essentials list in a different video. But if you are taking medications, take them with you. If you know you have allergy problems, if you know you're going to have an upset stomach or eating certain things will upset your stomach, take that medicine with you. I have seen several reenactors at major events in the North especially that they take blood pressure medicine, and because it wasn't period accurate, they wasn't taking it at events. This is a hobby. Your health comes before your hobby. So if you know you're going to be out in the woods and you have allergy problems, take you some allergy pills, put them in a correct bottle or form or something such as that, and stick them in your bag, stick them in your pocket, because if you're miserable, you're not going to have a good time and you're not going to want to keep doing this. So if you're taking medicine, take the medicine with you to an event. Don't be afraid of having to take the medicine. If you're wearing contacts, take contact and contact solution with you. So this is another at event tip. And that is, if someone from the public comes and asks you a question, don't be afraid to answer them. Don't be like scared and, oh, don't look at me. No, that's why we're there. We're there to teach, and we're there to keep an involvement with the public. So if you are asked a question by the public, don't be afraid of it. If you don't know the answer, call a more seasoned reenactor over to you and have them talk to this person about this question. Don't be afraid of it. We get asked some crazy questions from, is that fire real? And are you hot in that? To so many other questions on the different end of the spectrum. So don't be afraid of that. And I have a whole list of videos planned, and that is one of the videos that I planned, is questions that reenactors are asked. So don't be afraid of that. So the next tip I have is called a in case of emergency card. And this wouldn't be so bad if you're going with somebody or if somebody knows where you're going. But take an index card and write down your information, write down any medical history you have on it, and place it somewhere where somebody could find it in case of an emergency. I've seen several times at Gettysburg, I saw a man shoot his hand off. I've seen people having heart attacks. I've seen people getting sick. I've seen people passing out. And they might not know you have an allergic reaction to penicillin. They might not know you have an allergic reaction to walnuts or nuts and stuff like that. So have a card stuck in your tent. Tell somebody where it is. You know, Joe Blow knows where your emergency, in case of emergency card is. It's always going to be in this certain box. So go ahead, write down that information, and tell someone where it is. That is the hugest thing. Tell someone where it is. Because if you write down and don't tell anybody, it does no good. So the last tip I have, and I've forgotten how many tips I've done. The last tip I have is simply to relax. You're there to enjoy yourself, have fun, and learn. So I think that's everything I have for today. So you guys have a great day. Click like, click subscribe, and come back to see me next week.